Minecraft speedrunning has been established for years, but in our whimsical world of misadventures, there's no such thing as speedrunning. That is, until I got here. The Crypt is a dungeon deep in the SMP that's full of traps, mobs, and secrets, wherein completing all the objectives grants you the most amount of possible loot, a total of 7 chests and 1 potential unique mount. Although the loot pool of the chests in the Crypt vary in rarity, normally you get enchanted books, enchanted apples, or armor. You see, the speedrunning stuff started because I wanted everything. I wanted it all. So I started min-maxing the dungeon. Now keep in mind, this video will be an analytical breakdown of the Crypt. Whether you're here for brains, the builds, or even the lore, you are in for a ride. This is the Crypt. Let's dive in. This is the Oracle, a new addition to the Crypt, probably the most important part of speedrunning. It's just at the entrance of the Crypt, and it gives you a clue as to where the exit lever spawns. If you're not sure what I mean by the exit lever, wait until the end. But if you do know what I mean by that, then you would know that this is a crucial part for speedrunning and what makes or breaks a run. Just make sure you look at that special head on top of the Oracle. This first chest is relatively easy, but a little bit of particular pathing is necessary to spawn the least amount of skeletons, so you can breeze right past this. Although this used to be avoidable by hugging the walls, it had been patched, so this room now becomes completely unavoidable. Although there are times where the Crypt spawns an extra hallway that allows you to skip this, in my case, we don't want to skip this because there's 2 chests inside holding on to lots of delicious loot. With that being said, stepping in causes the bars to drop and keep you encased in this room where a good amount of spiders spawn, and the room doesn't open back up until you slay all the spiders. So speed and mobility are highly crucial here. Upon entering this room, we are presented with 2 enemies, the skeleton warrior and a skeleton dog. As much as it pains me to say this, we have to slay the dog. There is an extremely small chance for the Skele Dog to drop a mount, which allows you to ride this skeleton dog outside of the Crypt, and only one has ever been found. And I am not that one, which means I am still searching for a Skele Dog mount. After defeating the enemies, we have to target this grindstone by shooting an arrow to it. It loosens the tightness of these bars and therefore opens up. Grabbing the loot is what's important here, but there is also a good amount of coins. Just don't stay in there too long because you will get trapped. This is the hardest part in my opinion. It requires an extreme amount of precision, and when running the Crypts over and over again, it gets really easy to mess up. The Dragon Grave is simple, however, only needing to light the candles in here to unlock the first secret. And if you don't have a flint and steel, well, don't worry, because they're hidden inside of the pots. Accurate aim is crucial here, and being able to light the candles as you run is the absolute best way to min-max this room. The next secret is the parkour. You'd think it's straightforward, but after 6 hours of running the Crypt back to back, I found a few shortcuts that are huge time savers. All you need to do in the parkour room is find these mossy heads and click them. But remember, the hardest part here is precision. The parkour skips require being able to do neos and cut some close corners, so messing up here can completely ruin your run. And trust me, it has ruined a couple of mine. Finally, we reach the final room. In order to leave, we have to find a hidden lever that's inside of one of these rooms. Remember the oracle from the very beginning? We were given a clue, and given the head or the entity that is shown there, the lever would spawn in its corresponding room. After my 6-hour session of streaming the Crypt back to back to back, myself and chat logged all of the locations of the levers. And as you can see, there are some really amazing locations for the levers to spawn, and if you start the Crypt and see the bee, the bard, or the god of thunder, you know you're in for a potentially really good run. And that's about it. I mean, I'm missing quite a lot when it comes to the Crypt. There is a whole other side of the Crypt that I am not even covering in this video, but it does have some really good stuff, such as the sacrifices for a shulker box or the sacrifices for gold, wheat, or redstone. While all of those things are amazing, they are not chests, which means if there's no chests, there's not going to be delicious loot. So for this video, I am skipping that part because it doesn't have anything to do with my speedrun, but if you guys are interested in learning more about the Crypt, then ask away in the comments because I would love to answer that. I've been running these over and over and over again. I'm starting to go crazy. With that being said, that is how I officially min-maxed the Crypt, and I found all the shortcuts that I could potentially find. Could there be more? Yes. And as of the making of this video, I am number 1 in the leaderboard of speedrunning the Crypt at a solid 2 minutes and 31 seconds. However, there's a few other people also doing this, so maybe by the time you watch this, someone else is beating me, which is totally cool because I just love the competition. But with that being said, I will now show you guys my best run, my 2 minute and 31 second run. And yes, I know I made a lot of mistakes, which means I could probably do a way better run, but of course that's gonna take time, effort, and patience. But enjoy. Future Jojo coming in, just to give it a little bit of a voiceover. As I started off this run, I very quickly zoomed in and knew that it was going to be the bard of an exit. Of course, I got a little excited, so I missed my swing for the skeleton, which was a big blunder, but just something like that lets me know that I can get a faster time. And of course, heading into the spider room, I see some interesting loot, but I'm not taking it, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, sometimes I finish my run and then I go back into the Crypt to grab the loot, because of course I'm trying to get the fastest time. So I'm not even trying to grab any of the loot until way later. Now I will say that I have several different swords. I have a sword with Smite, and then I have a sword with Bane of Arthropods for all the different things. And then of course I have my looting with Flame for the dog, so that the dog can die while I am looking away. Now I got really lucky with the layout of the map here. So as you can see, I'm heading over and everything's kind of working together. I usually go for this right candle first, and then I make my circle around because it is the most efficient way. At least that's what I gathered from running this over and over again. And I seem to be doing pretty well on time because my average was reaching the parkour room at around 100 seconds. And as you can tell, the time in game and the time overlay is a little bit off. And that's because usually when you spawn in, the timer is already at like a few seconds. Of course, I made a little mistake in the parkour room, and you know, I'm always going to make mistakes in the parkour room because once you start reaching the end of the Crypt, you start realizing like, oh gosh, it's getting serious. Like, I should not have stood still for that long to click on that head. And this little shortcut, by the way, I did nab from Seapeekay, so shout out to Seapeekay for getting that one. All the other ones have just been things that I kind of picked up along the way, figured out that it would be a little bit of a time saver here. And of course, I also have Death Strider boots that kind of help with walking through the water here. I take this little shortcut here and I panic for a split second because I kind of forgot what the exit was, because of course it was 2 minutes ago that I saw the oracle, but thankfully I was able to remember. I get that huge swing on that skeleton and was able to flick the lever. Now this is the scariest part, is always turning this corner here because there's water to slow you down, and then I always bonk my head on that rod, but alas, I was able to do it at 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this little half episode.